And thanks to the Microsoft team for a good introduction about AI, security, and other services. So my name is Manohar, and I'm the head of products at a new age company called Cloudbrink. And in this session, I will try to provide you an overview of what we do at Cloudbrink and specific to Microsoft solutions, what we can do, and some of the generic items as well. So before we jump into the solutions, I would like to actually describe the problem statement, right? I mean, everyone now knows that it's a hybrid world. People are working from everywhere. People are working from home, remote locations, during the travel, etc. Right? Uh, when the users are accessing their business applications, the applications could be a SaaS application, it could be a private application hosted in an on-prem or a virtual cloud environment. Typically, a very simple typical network path is the endpoint is connected through a Wi-Fi or a 4G to the ISP, and from there through the regular internet or a mid-mile, it is going to reach your SaaS service, your application services. In this entire end-to-end path, the last mile network, which is between the endpoint and the ISP's first points of presence, where you have the typical Wi-Fi and 4G, there are some network level issues. And these issues have a huge impact on the user's productivity. The issues are something like these networks are lossy in nature. That's the nature of Wi-Fi. And a lot of times, the ISPs, what they do is they oversubscribe the number of subscribers in a particular region with the assumption that not all the subscribers are going to connect at the same time. That's why you see there are some periods in a day where you get very, very good upload or download speeds. But whereas at other times on the same link, you will get a slightly lower upload or download speeds. Of course, these Wi-Fi 4G networks, they have high delay and jitter compared to your regular Ethernet or fiber cables. And there is a chance of a weak signal as well. For example, you are a little bit away from the Wi-Fi hotspot, or you are in a different room, or there is some kind of a other electronic gadget which is running close to the access point. There are like several reasons why the signal could be interrupted. The net impact of these issues on the end user, what happens is they see that the applications on which they are working, they are they are either slow or they are becoming unresponsive. If it is a virtual desktop or a desktop as a service type of a solution, you will see that sessions are hanging, or there's a lot of lag between your mouse and the keyboard movement versus what you see on the VDI. A typical collaboration call like what we have today, you will see that the audio is either breaking, video is frozen, bunch of things, right? We have seen some customers where their entire company, which is like consisting of almost like 400, 500 people, they want to be on a call, all hands call, and most of the users are complaining that they are not able to hear properly. And if you are working with some kind of applications where there is some kind of a data transfer, this will be either very slow or sometimes it might completely time out or fail. These are some of the common problems that we see our customers are our customers tell us about what their users are facing. So there are bunch of solutions out there in the market to support hybrid users. Earlier products we used to call as virtual private networks, VPNs. Now they have transitioned into ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access. And the latest terminology for that is the SASE, Secure Access Security Service, right? So it is going to transition, but if you see all these solutions, they focus primarily on the security angle of it. Whether when I say security, they are talking about am I authenticating the user or not? Am I authenticating the endpoint or not? Role-based access control, like that. There is no platform in the market out today which is giving equal importance to security as well as to the performance. And that's where we have introduced Cloudbrink. Cloudbrink is nothing but it's a overlay network tunnels. We construct the secure overlay network tunnels on the existing physical network. So to use Cloudbrink, there is no need to change your application, or there is no need to change your end user's ISP network. Any of those things need not be changed. It's a completely software only solution that runs on the existing physical networks only. And what we do is based upon some kind of algorithms, we detect what is the current network condition through which the end user is connecting to their service. And network conditions are not static, right? Within a day, or within an hour, or within like gap of 5 to 10 minutes, the network conditions might change. So we need to have this constant intelligence of how the current network is behaving. And based on that, if we detect packet loss or high delay or high jitter, we try to over we try to take some optimization techniques that will overcome those network challenges. For example, we will try to do a preemptive packet recovery. We try to forward the traffic using parallel streams so that the overall traffic forwarding is highly accelerated. I just gave a couple of examples here, but there are like another 15 to 20 different techniques that we use to improve the performance. The end result, what we are trying to achieve and what we have done successfully, is the applications the user is accessing, they are run very, very fast, they are very, very responsive. If you are running a virtual desktop or a DAS solution, we ensure that even at a 20% packet loss also, these virtual desktops continue to run without any disruption. Audio or video calls are they are running very, very smoothly. And for five data transfers, let's say you are uploading a data or downloading a data, in earlier sessions we saw that how the AI tools are being trained, right? For those kind of things you need lot of data. When such kind of data transfers are happening, we can show up to 30x faster performance improvement for data transfers. That is what Cloudbrink is about. And in the last couple of years, currently we can boast about more than five Fortune 100 companies using our solution, and several other mid and small enterprises also, primarily to address their hybrid user productivity challenges. Now, what are the Microsoft services where Cloudbrink collaborates with? Right? There are several use cases that I would like to walk you through. The first and foremost, the basics, right? Of course, we are available on the latest Windows 10 and 11 operating systems, and we also ensure that we provide day zero support for the new OS upgrades or patches. And we integrate with Microsoft Entra ID for the uh, user's multi-factor authentication. Whatever is the authentication mechanism that the enterprise is using on Microsoft Entra, the same auth mechanism will be used for users to log into the Cloudbrink service as well. Of course, there are secondary level features within the IDP integration like group extraction, IDP chaining, certificate management, all these things are taken care of. We also integrate with the Microsoft conditional access support. So by the time a user gets access to their enterprise applications, they will go through multiple checks to make sure that the security is taken care of. First, using the Entra, we do the multi-factor authentication. And of course, at that time, you can optionally check for the conditional access policy compliance also. Most of you are very, very familiar with, I guess, the Microsoft conditional access support, where the devices must be in compliance with the conditional access policies in order to access any services, right? We reuse the same policy infrastructure to make a decision whether to allow the user to proceed to the next step or not. On top of the conditional access, we have our own device security posture assessments. For example, we can check whether the end user's laptop is coming from any specific geographic location or not. We can check for whether a specific certificate is available on the laptop or not. We can check for whether any whitelisted process is running, any blacklisted process is running. There are at least say 500 to 600 different checks that we can do on the laptop before we determine whether the endpoint is in a compliant status or not. And based on that, if it is not compliant, either you can completely deny it or you can put them in a quarantine group. And finally, you actually do a group-based, role-based access control. And then based upon the role, you kind of determine what level of access you have to provide to the end user. That way, there is a very, very streamlined access control that you can configure on the Cloudbrink side. The second integration, what we have seen some of our customers use it is, we have a feature called internet security. And internet security feature, what it does is, it will determine whether the user is allowed to access a particular internet service or not. And this decision itself is based upon the endpoint compliance status. For example, I'll take a very, very simple use case to just explain the behavior of this feature. You can check whether the end user's laptop, a antivirus is running or not. If the antivirus is not running, you can completely deny access to Office 365. But if it is running, then only you allow access to Office 365. Those kind of simple checks, right? And Office 365 is one example here. You can extend or you can fine tune these access controls for an individual SaaS service or to the overall internet or to a category or application categories like productivity applications, business applications, collaborative applications. At an application category level, you can have we have different levels of fine tuning the access controls. You can do that based upon the device posture. That's what we call it as uh, controlling the uh, based upon the device assessment. How do we control access to Office 365? And then the next integration is there are a lot of customers today who use Azure infrastructure as a service, the Azure VNets, to host their private applications, right? And they need to provide access to the applications hosted here to the remote users. One of the common or typical ways they do is they spin up some other VPN or IPsec VPN gateways on the Azure VNet, and through that they provide access to remote users. But that is going to kill the performance of these applications, right? And a lot of times it is not even clear why there is a performance issue. There are a lot of times admins start debugging, am I using the right Azure instance or not? What is the throughput on the VPN gateway? But the most likely reason why the performance challenges are there in the first place is because the user is coming from a network where there are a lot of network impairments. So what we have shown to our customers is that if you use Cloudbrink to access the Azure, not only Azure, we support multi-cloud access simultaneously. So a user can access any number of cloud instances simultaneously. It's not like the typical age-old VPN where you can connect to one gateway at a time. We can connect parallel to any number of virtual clouds. And when you come over through Cloudbrink, we can show up to 30x performance improvement. For example, if a data transfer is taking roughly 10 minutes without Cloudbrink, we can show that we can bring it down to less than 30 seconds of the time, right? That is the type of performance improvement we show. But this performance is not coming at the cost of any security loopholes. We are making sure that security is also taken care of very, very tightly. As I said in the previous slides, first of all, we make sure user is a user, device, role-based, everything is authenticated. On top of that, the Cloudbrink solution itself follows something called as software-defined perimeter compliant model, where the for the virtual clouds where our solution is deployed, we don't allow any inbound connections. Only outbound connections will be used to connect the user to the private applications. That way, there is no need for opening up a new port or a new public dedicated public IP address on your firewalls. Second is these private applications that you want to expose to the remote users, there is no need to provide give a dedicated public IP address or put them in front of a load balancer, etc. These applications are visible only to those users who are authenticated to Cloudbrink. That's why Cloudbrink kind of acts like a dark cloud where the any unauthenticated or unauthorized user cannot even know that there is a private application running on the on your Azure VNet instance, right? So in terms of security also, we make sure that we take care of all the security requirements for the private applications as well as the SaaS applications. And on top of that, we provide these performance improvements. What are the common use cases where we have seen customers using us? Customers are using Azure files or OneDrive to exchange a lot of data within the organization or sometimes across the organization with their partners, vendors, etc. We have seen a huge number of customers who have been using Azure virtual desktops or some form of DaaS solutions from Azure, and where they say that yes, we get all the functionality required on these virtual desktops, but the user is either roaming or he's traveling to a remote location. There is a challenge to access these particular virtual desktops. Those are the type of cases where Cloudbrink is very, very helpful. For Microsoft Teams, we make sure that the Teams audio or video quality is very, very high under all network conditions. And of course, on the Exchange Online or SharePoint, as I was saying, we make sure that we kind of either document upload, download, or loading the emails very, very fast. All those things we can do. And finally, so what Cloudbrink stands for is mainly the quality of experience that we provide to the end users so that the application performance is top notch and the users are very, very productive. Our end goal is to make sure that user gets a in office type of an experience wherever they are coming from. And today, where there is a lot of these hybrid work policies, this becomes very, very important factor. And while the performance and quality of experience is the top-notch differentiator of Cloudbrink, we also made sure that security-wise, we are on par with any other zero trust access or a SaaS solution. So the end result is customer need not make any trade-off between a performance or a security, which is typically what you do when you're looking for any other solution, right? You are trying to do a trade-off. Okay, I can take a risk here in terms of security, but I need performance. Or no, performance is not important for me. Security is top-notch. Cloudbrink tries to eliminate that kind of a trade-off and provide both of them on the same platform. With that, so we have kind of on this particular web page, we have added a lot of assets for you to understand what Cloudbrink is, what Cloudbrink can offer along with Microsoft other solutions. So request you to please visit this particular website and try to learn more about what we do and how we can improve the productivity of the end users. With that, thank you. And if there are any questions, I'll answer them in that.